I have with me a very special guest.
It's red, let's stop here.
This is Albert.
Hi. So now we are at the Assemblée Nationale, which is the French parliament.
This column with himself at the top, where he's dressed like a Roman emperor, with up on it a big, sharp blade dropping on your neck.
The Invalides was built as a military hospital. All the battles that he won during his military career. So these cannons in front of the Invalides.
Good insight about French and Parisian history.
Action to see if we can find the exact location. X marks the spot.
Microphone test.
I think we should cross over there.
Yeah.
But first, if you do not know what about the Luxor, here, if you stand here following the stripe,
Assemblée Nationale played a huge role in the French Revolution's history.
I'm here to explain the history of key monuments in parts of Paris.
Today we are at Place de la Concorde, and I have with me a very special guest. This is Albert, my son, 14 years old, and grew up here in Paris and very interested in history.
Yeah, hi, my name is Albert, and my job on this channel now is to tell you a good insight about French and Parisian history.
Yes. And so I always ask Albert when I have any questions about history. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the Place de la Concorde and about all the things that happened here, all the horrible things that happened here. So first of all, we're going to try to find the location, the exact location of the famous guillotine from the Revolution. And we've got some instructions that are put together from different ideas. I mean, this is the most common knowledge of where the guillotine was exactly placed.
Yeah, because there's no documents officializing.
No, so this is put together what's known up until now. So let's see if we can figure it out. So let's see what we're walking across. This is Hotel Triomphe that we had behind us. So, and there is the obelisk right there in the center. And let's see. This was called Rue Royale, no? The one up there, yeah? Yeah. So, from what I understand, you're supposed to go into the center of the square. Well, not the center, but about where we are now.
Oh, and do you know what these statues are?
No? Tell me, let's stand so we can see that one.
So basically, all these statues represent one of the big cities of France at the time. So this is Rouen, a big city in Normandy.
Yeah.
This is Brest.
Yeah.
And then there's Lille, Strasbourg.
And so they are located in all the four corners. Yeah.
Not four corners because there's more than.
Ah, yeah.
But yeah, they.
Oh, those over there too with
no. This one, this one, this one. You know,
okay.
These ones with all the statues.
I see them now. The other ones are outer. Okay.
They are all around the Place.
So, what I have understood now, this is Hotel Triomphe, the big hotel right here. This is the Luxor Obelisk. And this is the Brest monument right here. And so you're supposed to line that up at the center of the hotel. Right here, and the Brest. So this, oh my God, look, there is a cross right here. Could it be? I was told that there was not a point, a marker for it, but apparently there is.
So here it was, the famous guillotine, who killed one of the last French kings and one of the last French queens. A big wooden plank with up on it a big, sharp blade dropping on your neck, slashing it in some seconds without you feeling pain. That's why they did it. For the respect for their king, they wanted to give him a death that didn't put him in too much pain and suffering. At least That's what they thought in the time, at that time. Here, there was thousands of people who died. Louis XVI, of course, Marie Antoinette, but also Robespierre executed all the people, the French people who were for the king during La Terreur, was between 1793 and 1794. But first, if you do not know about the Luxor Obelisk, let me explain.
The Luxor Obelisk is actually one of a pair that once stood at the entrance to the Temple of Luxor in Egypt. It's over 3,000 years old and was given to France as a gift in 1831.
The Assemblée Nationale, also the French Parliament, played a big role in the French Revolution and in the French Republics. More on that later in the video, so stick around to find more about this iconic building.
This is actually Rue Saint-Honoré, and I heard that this is where the carriages with the people who are to be executed came rolling.
All the carriages carried the people, the victims of La Terreur, were taken along this street because the conciergerie is right next to this street.
And that's where Marie Antoinette was held.
And the king and the victims of the Terreur.
Before the actual, yeah.
This is the Église Sainte Marie Madeleine. Yeah, I know. Okay, so this Place de la Vendôme has a really big importance in Parisian history. So its early purpose was to celebrate the king and his glory. It was built under Louis XIV, and his statue was put here, where the column is today. However, when Napoleon became emperor, he took out the statue of Louis XIV and instead put this column with himself at the top, where he's dressed like a Roman emperor. It's made with the 1,200 cannons taken from the enemies during the Battle of Austerlitz.
Oh, you mean it's melted cannons?
Yeah, it is. It was taken from the Russians, Austrians, and British during the Battle of Austerlitz, Napoleon's greatest victory. However, during the Commune de Paris in 1871, who was the first socialist regime of the history of France, the statue, the column, the original one, was taken down because it was considered as a sign of imperialism. But when the Third Republic returned in France, it was rebuilt with belted cannons again, and here it is.
The bronze reliefs show French troops marching, building bridges, dragging cannons, and storming enemy positions. The sparring reliefs were inspired by Trajan's column in Rome and celebrate the triumph of the French army.
A fun fact here at Place Vendôme is that here, which is the Hotel Ritz, Coco Chanel moved into these windows here in 1937, and she lived here for 32 years, and she died in that window. Well, she wasn't in the window, but in that room right there. And if I turn around like this, the composer Frédéric Chopin, he lived right here at the top, at number 12, on the opposite side. And also, worth to mention about the Ritz is that when the Allies were going to come into Paris and liberate it, Ernest Hemingway the writer and a group of people, had already gone into Paris, which was actually empty. The Germans had left. And they had liberated the wine cellar, which is down here, and started to drink from the stock, waiting for Charles de Gaulle and his men to ceremonially enter the city. So yeah, a lot of history. I think we should cross over there.
Yeah.
Because there's the sidewalks right there.
But there's barriers everywhere. Such
Yeah.
a shame.
Get over to the center.
So the Arc de Triomphe was built by Napoleon I to celebrate his many victories, multiple victories, as the Emperor of France. So why did he build an arch? Because the Romans emperors did that, and he wanted to take inspiration from these emperors from Rome, and that's why he built an arch. And inside there is all the battles that he won during his military career, but also all the names of his generals. And on the four legs of the Arc de Triomphe there is statues of Greek and Roman gods, and on this one there is Napoleon being crowned by Zeus, the god of thunder and the king of gods.
The sculptures on the Arc de Triomphe honor soldiers who fought and died during the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. Beneath the arch lies the tomb of the unknown soldier, added after World War I, with an eternal flame that burns in memory of those who were never identified.
It's red, let's stop here. Papa, you're in the middle of the road. So now we are at the Assemblée Nationale, which is the French Parliament. The Assemblée Nationale played a huge role in the French Revolution's history because it is the deputies of the Assemblée Nationale who started the revolution at the États Généraux, which was a meeting in 1789 directed by the King Louis XVI, who voted that the taxes should be higher without the people's agreement. As such, the Assemblée Nationale provoked at the Salle du Jeu de Paume the French Revolution, starting a protest and a constitutional monarchy in France.
The statues on the front represent key figures from French history, like Sully, Colbert, and Mirabeau, symbolizing political and intellectual leadership. Today, this is where the French National Assembly meets to debate and vote on the country's laws.
This here is Invalides. It was built by King Louis XIV.
So you mean that originally this was built as a fortress, not...
Yeah, because well, it wasn't built as a fortress, it was built as a military hospital, but in case of an invasion of Paris, they put protection around it.
Oh yeah, so because this used to be water here.
Yeah.
And then was it like a hospital, or this is where all the...
All the wounded soldiers went to be healed.
Yeah.
Because invalide means non-valid in French.
Yeah.
So it's for the soldiers that couldn't fight because they were wounded or something like that, or were sick.
It's quite a big place. It must have taken a lot of soldiers.
Yeah. The Invalides was built as a military hospital. But now it's a museum because Napoleon's grave is here. So the Invalides was actually the tallest building in Paris before the Eiffel Tower, as it is 107 meters tall. So these cannons in front of the Invalides are cannons that were captured by the French army from foreign armies. Some are from the Ottoman Empire, others are from China, and this one is from Germany, Prussia.
The cannons from this time were often cast with ornate details, including royal symbols, mythological figures, and decorative reliefs.